Hello, Sooner fans. This is the legend, Mike Wilkerson, your host of Sooner Legends podcast. And on this episode, I'm going to talk about a coach who was gone too soon. Like the title says, it's Jim MacKenzie. But before we dive into it, let me ask you to jump out, hit the like button, hit your red subscriber button, hit your post notification bell. That way you won't miss any content that I will be dropping. And as also thank you to all my supporters, subscribers, which ain't many, but we uh, we certainly thank you here at Sooner Legends Podcast. So let's jump into Mr. Jim MacKenzie. Jim MacKenzie was OU's football coach who was hired in 1966 to replace Gomer Jones, a longtime Bud Wilkinson assistant. After Bud left in 63, Gomer Jones was the head coach from 64 to 65 and didn't do too well. As a matter of fact, Gomer uh, gave us our worst record up until John Blake in 1996. So after the 65 season, uh, Gomer was fired, but he remained as the athletic director at OU. And they hired Jim MacKenzie, who was an assistant under Frank Broyles at the University of Arkansas. And as soon as MacKenzie was hired, uh, MacKenzie brought along four legendary assistants to the university: Chuck Fairbanks, Barry Switzer, Larry Lacewell, and Galen Hall. So, in his first season and only season at OU, he went 6-4. We defeated Texas for the first time in 9 years. We defeated an undefeated Nebraska on Thanksgiving Day, and that year Jim MacKenzie was named the Big Eight Coach of the Year. Out of that, uh, MacKenzie recruited legendary Heisman Trophy winner Steve Owens. And as Mr. Owens has stated several times when he was being recruited out of Miami, Oklahoma, Jim MacKenzie was then at Arkansas. And MacKenzie kept trying to recruit him to Arkansas. And Mr. Owens told him several times, well, Coach MacKenzie, my dream is to play at OU. And MacKenzie would tell him, well, they're not doing so good down there. So when they hired Jim as our head coach, he went back to Steve Owens and he said, all that stuff I told you about Arkansas, forget about it. Come fulfill your dream at the University of Oklahoma. So, like I said, Jim MacKenzie gave us some, it might have been 6-4, but we was well on our way to a winning season. That year when we beat Texas, there was a kicker by the name of Mike the Sean, who I think, if I remember right, he nailed four field goals in that game, and won the game for OU. And then the next year, he kicks four field goals and misses all four of them. But anyway, after the 66 season, 1967 rolls around, and Coach MacKenzie was on a recruiting trip to North Texas recruiting a player. He comes back to Norman that evening and died suddenly of a massive heart attack. So we didn't have him but for 1 year, and Steve has always stated that had MacKenzie had lived, he feels that OU would have been back on the winning track because he was a young, vibrant coach, no frills, expected a lot. So pretty sad that you coach 1 year and have a over 500 average winning streak and pass away the next year. Of course, out of that, after Coach MacKenzie passed away, Chuck Fairbanks was then named the head coach. And at that time, Fairbanks was the defensive coordinator, and Barry Switzer was the offensive coordinator. Lacewell, from what I seen, uh, he was a line coach or something, and Galen Hall worked with the wide receivers. So there's your short little history on Mr. Jim MacKenzie, and keep him and the family members still in your thoughts and prayers because we lost him way too soon. So until we meet again, God bless you, Sooner Nation. This is the legend Mike Wilkerson. Peace out, guys.